Okay. So, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to Sunday evening storytelling session because Pooja wanted to have uh, come on in this time. So, we are here. I am Sneha Bakkal, a birth doula, birth attendant, and someone who believes that birth is really natural and just observing and the mother and the baby is what we do. I support in pregnancy, labor, birth, and postpartum in Mumbai, Navi Mumbai, Thane. Today, the guest is Puja Talukdar, my client, who gave birth to a beautiful baby boy a few months back. And I'm so glad that she's here. So, Puja, by profession, is a software engineer. She's a Bengali girl staying in Mumbai. And she loves textile. I love her collection of whatever she wears. She's into textile, handloom, handcraft stuffs. So she loves doing that, and she believes that birth is natural and uh, each and every woman has the power to birth. So that's her belief regarding birth. And so Pooja, here you are. I'll just ping you so you can narrate your story. Thank you so much, Pooja, for joining in.
Hi, Sneha. Thanks for the introduction. Am I audible?
Yes.
Okay. Just give me a minute. I'll just set my. Okay.
So Pooja, you
Yeah.
can
So,
you can start with the first experience of yours, the breech birth. So not the breech birth, but the breech pregnancy, and then you can continue with the second pregnancy and birth.
okay. Yeah. Okay. So, hi, everyone. Good evening. Yeah. So, for me, so I had my first baby in Kolkata, and even though I wanted to have a natural birth, but uh, unfortunately, my baby was breech, and that's why, it led to a C-section. Now, baby had been breech from the very beginning. I tried all sorts of inversions and everything, whatever I could find out, to make the baby turn. But, baby remained breech, okay, till the time my labor started. And I also found a doctor, who had experience with breech deliveries and all. Okay, so, and that was like, but what she was a very senior doctor, but she said that, she had done breech deliveries. And but she said, told me that, now it doesn't happen like in probably in government hospitals it's happening. But I really requested her, at least let's give me a chance, to labor and all. Then she said, okay, let's see what happens. And I had a complication. Had a complication because of which, we had to have the delivery by 39 weeks. So, um, I think last we met a doctor around 37 weeks, and she mentioned, okay, come by 38 weeks and we'll schedule a date. Okay, but in the meantime, I went, into natural, into spontaneous labor. And so then I again requested doctor, let's try for you know, a vaginal birth. But it did not go through. Okay, and at that point of time, I was not able to advocate for myself further. Uh, so, and there were some other things which were told, and so I had to go through a C-section. Um, the thing is that I never prepared myself for a C-section. I was like really hoping that I would get a chance, to labor and see how things go. And when it happened, while I was relieved to have my baby in my hands, but somewhere down the line, I was still not able to, accept this, right? Even though it was a very smooth experience. Recovery was also smooth, but recovery required a lot of support. Okay, so and then 2 years later, when when I, you know, uh, conceived my second baby, so I came down to Mumbai where Actually, we were living in Mumbai only, but due to COVID, we went back to our hometown in Kolkata, and that's where, we delivered like our first baby. So after coming to Mumbai, so then I was very sure that I want to try for a VBAC. So I had looked for a doctor, who was VBAC friendly, and he was almost 25 kilometers from my home. So I used to travel to him for the initial checkups, and he appeared to be very friendly and, understanding. He's like, if you're coming, so far, then you don't have to come very frequently. You can send me the reports and over WhatsApp, and, we can, I can check and get back like that sort of. So he felt very cooperative, and I had a feedback about him that he does VBACs and he had done VBAC. But I never, discussed with him in the initial days. And he also mentioned, let's see, but he never said that, it has to be a C-section or something. And he said, we'll see what happens. Now, in my first pregnancy, I had cholestasis. Um, and so when I checked with him that, uh, do I need to get tested in my second pregnancy also? Is there a possibility? So he said that, you may not get it. So, since I had a feedback from a credible source that he is VBAC friendly, so I also did not question his opinion or the information which he shared with me that you may not get it. Okay, so I think if I would have actually, you know, given some importance to it and checked myself, right, then I would have found that this way of telling is actually incorrect. Because generally, if you have cholestasis in your first pregnancy, it's almost there's an 80% chance of getting it in the subsequent pregnancy. Okay, so you may not get it. It's not, I felt that it wasn't the correct answer, right? So now what happened is my father, he told me to be cautious and, just get self-tested. So, and I also realized that I think 33 weeks, I was getting a bit of a burning sensation in my fingers in the evening. Okay, so that alerted me. I got self-tested and I found that, I think it was 32 weeks. Found that the levels were rising. Okay, so, and it is cholestasis. So then I did what I did in my first pregnancy. I modified my diet, you know, and I informed my doctor that, this is the case. So, and he prescribed me the medicine for it. Now, as soon as this complication came, right, so his attitude towards my birth changed completely, irrespective of the levels or the parameters that I was having. So, he straight away said that by 35th week, we'll have to perform a C-section. Then we'll have to bring the baby out. So, and now because I had already experienced it, so I knew, that what was the impact of the cholestasis, how the different levels can be interpreted, and how long can we, allow the pregnancy to go, right? So I try, I told the same thing to him. See, these are my levels, and this does not really require a 35th of week delivery, and we can go up to 37 weeks, or without any risk. But he was not agreeing to it, and then I felt that okay, so now this is it. Like, he doesn't want to support me here. And then I started looking for other options, other doctors who were supportive of my birth plan, that is to have a VBAC and also along with cholestasis. So in that, right, so again, that's when, I came to know about Sneha and Tapasya, and I reached out to both of them. And, um, I also reached, with the help of them, I was able to find a VBAC friendly doctor in Mumbai. Okay, and with respect to cholestasis, you know, I read about it. I took consultations of, from Tapasya, and then I also, tried something. So I had become very cautious, and I was testing every week for the levels, and so then I saw that if I was keeping fats completely out of my diet, then my levels were coming down. Okay, that's the only way I could control you know, the bile acid level. Um, so because in spite of taking the medicines, the bile acid was rising very slowly. So only by controlling diet, I was able to bring it down, and I was able to reduce the risk due to my condition to my baby. So I followed it rigorously. It was difficult, and but somehow, from the like my levels were controlled, and like I was able to find a supportive doctor, and so then I started preparing myself, for VBAC, for natural birth, and there were a lot of obstacles on the way because finding a doctor to support was the first thing. I went to so many doctors in Mumbai, almost like 4, 5 doctors, and the weird things that they told me, uh, it somehow was demotivating me. But then after speaking with Tabasya and Sneha, right, like I was able to focus myself on achieving my VBAC. And then the regular thing, to prepare for VBAC, like doing the proper exercises and everything, and eating properly, eating healthy, you know, and then knowing about what to expect, once labor starts, and how to go about labor, what were the warning signs, and, how to mentally prepare myself, to go through the process. So I think that was the biggest thing, which helped here. And there was a lot of, there wasn't much support other than them. So, which made me realize that it's very important, to have the right people along with you, to achieve uh, a vaginal birth, normal birth, natural birth, right? So, because it may happen that your family might not, they might not be aware of what it takes, and they might not be able to support you. Like they're not the experts, and they might not be able to support you in the capacity that's required, right? So we need to get past that, and we need to look for experts who are experienced with what we are wanting, and include them in our team so that they can support us to get the birth that we want. And that's exactly what happened. So even though I was having doubt, like almost every moment along the way, but I used to keep, telling myself, okay, Sneha told me this, Tapasya told me this. So, and they had experience, right? They are experienced with VBAC. So I think that helped me a lot, So getting the information from truly experienced people instead of giving into the fears of others who have no experience. So I think that was the biggest. It's also one of my learnings because it's very difficult, when you keep hearing non-supportive things from everyone around you, right? So it's very difficult to, stay focused to what you want and all. Yeah, so I think that's very important to have supportive people in the team. So now coming to the birth, so I knew that it would be a long labor, and I was mentally prepared for it. And then labor started, and initially, I think the initial contractions, like I think it's the initial stage of labor, right, Sneha? Maybe you can confirm. Like from a Monday onwards, like, I was having this little bit of contractions, and then it went almost for the week. And then Friday, I and my husband was, on office tour, so he was supposed to be back on Friday. And Friday, I also visited a chiropractor. And then, by Friday night, almost around 11 or something, the contractions picked up. So, but then I did not inform anyone. I think I only told Sneha and Tapasya, this is happening. And then Saturday morning, like throughout it, like it almost contractions were coming on and off throughout the night, and it was going on. So I was able to rest. But I did not inform anyone in my family because they might get concerned and might, also like push me to go to the hospital at the earliest. And that is something which we all wanted to avoid so that there's less scope for interventions. To minimize the risk of having interventions. So, yeah, so then the labor continued. I labored at home. Then yeah, okay. Yeah, so I labored at home. I think, and I was keeping both Neha and Tapasya updated. Okay, this is what is happening. I was resting a lot, and then I think I informed Sneha that probably you can come in the evening. No, for initially I told her to come by 5 p.m. and then I said, "Nee, you come by 6:30 or 7." And by afternoon, I informed my husband. Okay, so this is what's happening. So I think um, there might something can happen maybe tonight or tomorrow. So, and then 7 o'clock, Sneha came. So before she was about to enter, so I told the other members also, hey, what, we are getting contractions. So maybe tonight I might have to go, but let's see how it goes. Okay, and yeah, then we labored some more. Sneha helped me with massages and, you know, using aromatherapy oils, and those were very relaxing. And then I think we tried some Rebozo also, right, Sneha, as far as I remember. Yeah. And mostly I was getting back labor, so, you know, being on all fours was a very relaxing. I mean, that's the only way I was able to cope. And so I was drinking water a lot. Like I was constantly drinking water, and, again, so to keep myself hydrated well. I wasn't able to eat much, so throughout the day I ate very less, and then from the evening, like afternoon onwards, when the contractions were picking up, I just had, I think, a bit of mangoes and something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So I was laboring, the contractions were picking up, and Neha was there. And then finally, um, I think by 11:30 or 11 o'clock, we decided to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So Pooja, would you add that moment when people were suspicious and who is she, and then we said that doctor ne bheja hai, so that made
Yeah.
them calm.
Yeah, definitely. So actually, I hadn't, I mean, my husband knew, but others like my mother-in-law, my father-in-law didn't know that I had a doula because I wasn't sure how to explain it to them because doula is something which is something which is very new with respect to pregnancy in India. So I just told her, them, she is someone who is associated with the hospital who is here to, yeah, and she works with my doctor, so she's here to support with my labor. So they were like, okay, fine. Oh, then they started asking her, ki, what do you think? Kab bacha, when the baby is going to come and all those questions. So, and and yeah, Sneha, so any other thing that you would like to add, Sneha, before going to the
uh,
hospital?
yeah, so like you were like constantly going to the washroom You know, you
Yeah.
wanted to take some hot water on your body or toilet, and then you were getting back, and you were very well hydrated, and you ate mangoes also. And then
Yeah.
we wanted to go to the hospital at the very, the last stage. So
Yes.
we thought that, these things are coming like in 1 minute pain coming for every 5 minutes was something which we were looking for. And when we thought that, so we thought, let's go to the hospital. And I think we left by 11:45 and we reached by 12 o'clock. It was a shorter distance in the night. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah. So we thought now the contractions are stronger and they're very nearer to each other. They're lasting more. So we decided, okay, now let's go to the hospital. And we had informed them before to keep the pool ready and everything. And luckily the hospital that we chose, right, it had very few, you know, people there. Few people who were actually birthing there and few people who were working in the late night. So it was very quiet and it's not a very, big place with a lot of hustle bustle even in the night. That's not how it is. So we just quietly came and we went and, directly we got on the pool. And we had earlier discussed with our doctor, how it's going to be. So it's not like, so the usual, I mean, the usual protocol, like you go to the hospital emergency, you get a lot of checks, you get you know, the cervical checks and everything. So we were able to avoid those. Okay. And we had to sign a consent form. So, that we are refusing we are not going through the protocol of the hospital, the monitoring and everything. So, and so that kind of left us like basically the hospital people, they left us alone to do our thing, with our team, with our chosen team. So, yeah, so we got on the pool, I was laboring, and Sneha was there. She was giving me hip compress, and time to time she was feeding me. She was helping me to drink water and all, and I was laboring, and no one from the hospital thankfully came to, bother us throughout. Yeah. So I think the doctor probably came once or twice, right, to check how we are doing. But even she also knew that, we wouldn't want anything. So that wasn't done. Yeah. So we labored through the night. We tried different positions, but we got on the pool. We went to the washroom also and in between, surprisingly, I mean, this was very surprising to me that I also got the opportunity to rest for some time, like almost like go to sleep. And I mean, I don't know how much time, maybe 10, 15 minutes, right? Probably, or I don't know, 5 minutes, something.
No, you slept for hours.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So yeah, in the morning time you slept for hours when you were in transition. If you don't mind, I would add that once we
Yeah.
went when once we were in the hospital, kind of, you were a little scared, to be very frank, that, yeah,
Yeah.
doc, this is not the place where I want to labor. Though, things are at your side, the doctor is in line with your birth plan, the doula is there, but somewhere you felt the home was much better for you. So, with that
No.
saying, in the
Mhm.
night you just felt a little uncomfortable, though we had pool and everything. So, I was wondering what is happening. Why things are not moving that way, as it was in the at your place. So then I use
Mhm.
that aroma again, the labor oil,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
after smelling all those things, when we got that smell in our environment, things started shifting. And then doctor just
Mhm.
came and said hi to you in the night. She came like 12:30. She said, I am here sleeping in my room. Whenever you need me, you can call me. And then we called her in the morning where you felt like the urge to push, 6:30. So then she said that,
Mhm.
you know what? Let me do a check. So when she checked, she did not tell me then, but she said that it's still time, Sneha. Things have to, move ahead. And later on, she mentioned that you were still 3 to 4 centimeter dilated. So there's long time for you to go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, you know what? I did not feel like I didn't want to labor, but what happened is that, I was always wondering, like, even though things were in my place, right? But
Yeah.
considering previous experience and the stories that you hear, last moment may what happens.
Mm.
So I was always wondering, looking at the door, is someone going to come? Is something
Mm.
going to happen?
Mm. Mm.
Some intervention going to happen? Yeah. So that thought was definitely at the back of my mind.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I'm glad, she didn't tell me there wasn't much progress. So then I think, yeah, so we just continued to labor. I tried relaxing, listening to affirmations and all. But yes, it was difficult for me to actually believe.
Yeah.
See, even though I was having everyone with me, even though, the doctor was on my side, but yes, I think deep down it was really difficult for me to believe it that, okay, it's actually going to happen. Because in my first experience, even though I tried to advocate for myself, right? Like, but last moment, something else happened. And because I had trusted the doctor then, so I did not question her decision at that point of time. Like, I couldn't kind of advocate myself for myself at that point of time. So, yeah, things happened. And then and after some time when it wasn't progressing, I was also getting impatient. So, and then but Sneha was continuously telling me, yeah, nothing to worry. The baby has to come when it has to come. Ho jayega, don't worry. So then I think doctor, she told that, I do have I think it's the cervical lip, yeah, which required which required to be maneuvered. Okay, so she asked me, will you be okay if I do it? Like, so then I thought, okay, I wasn't aware of it exactly what it was. So I thought, okay, let me discuss, and she was okay with it. So then we had a call, I think, with Tapasya, and Tapasya explained it to me. Yeah, it can happen and it can be maneuvered. I think midwives also do it. So I was then okay, relieved. So I told the doctor, okay, let's go ahead with it, you know. And after she did that, mm, I think labor started picking up and the dilation was progressing well. And then I I think after completing dilation, I kind of felt like there was some stalling. And then I realized that did not, you know, I did not pee for quite some time, like almost like 2 to 3 hours. Okay, so and it kind of struck me that before my first pregnancy, I think during my first pregnancy or after having my first child, so I used to listen to these birth stories, in a group. And there I had heard a story where, the mother who was narrating the story, she had a home birth, and it happened for her also, where her labor got stalled, and it was because, her bladder was full and she did not pass urine for a long time. So I requested doctor, that can you please, give me a catheter and, help me pass urine, because even though I've been drinking so much water, but I did not pass urine for the last 2, 3 years. So, and then I think that is something which kind of helped, to progress further. Yeah, so doctor helped me with the catheter, and after that, again, things progressed. And then I had started, also pushing and telling my baby that now you come. And also, I was listening to these positive affirmations and all. And yeah, and then I think, yeah, as Neha mentioned, just before transition, there was a time when I had again slept. So I think all this are very new to me, because it's like you experience, okay, this from slow to fast, the labor is going to start, and then when it's going to intensify at a go, it won't stop unless and until the baby is out. But that's not what happened with me.
Yeah.
You know, it was like, naturally I was getting time to rest and prepare myself, make myself ready for the next stage. So I think that was really amazing. So then finally, after waking up, there was a strong contraction. I woke up and then I kind of pushed, and I could hear the water break spontaneously. There was a pop sound, and I was all throughout pushing on all fours. Okay, so there was nothing like, lying down and pushing, nothing of that sort. So I think that also helped. I had walked, I had squatted, and as soon as the spontaneously the water broke, within half an hour, baby was out. And that pushing stage was extremely, extremely like, at that point of time I felt it was excruciating. And I could feel the head moving down because I wasn't able to stand anymore, and I just wanted to remain in that all fours position and, push my baby out. And it happened like, the head is coming out, and then again it's kind of like going back because uh, the vagina is stretching and I'm feeling that pain. And then when the final contraction came, then it was like, it was completely body doing its own thing. I felt it so clearly that there was no way that I could stop it. It was complete the fetal ejection reflex, which I've heard about, I've read about, and I could just feel it. Like, you know, I had to go through that, ring of fire, experience that fire, and yeah, I could no longer stop it. And because when we, get some pain, we might try to, maybe automatically the body kind of tries to contract and, to prevent it from experiencing. So I think relaxing at that point, like when the final, yeah, I mean, to help me relax at that point, I think I requested Sneha to give me some hot compress in the perineal, in the perineal area. And then after that, I got the strong contraction and the fetal ejection reflex, and bam, the head is out. And then the doctor was also encouraging me at that point of time. Yeah, you're doing great. Only little bit more. And I was also continuously praying, God, like to the Mother Goddess, that give me strength and all. I was telling to Goddess Kali, give me strength, give me strength to do this. And yeah, and then once the head is out, next push, the body comes out, and baby's born. It's so amazing. Yeah, and I felt so much strength. I kind of roared and brought my baby out.
Yeah.
And they were also continuously, telling me how to roar better. Tapasya was like, open your jaw wide and,
Yeah.
do it that way.
Make that deep sound. So, so because people are looking at me, I'll just spotlight me again. So, yeah. So the mother, so Puja was on all fours like this. I was, uh, I was at the back doing the compression. In front, there was the phone where Tapasya was guiding her to, just make that deep sound, let go, and everything. The husband was standing there, encouraging. The doctor was waiting to catch the baby. It was amazing, and I think we all of us cried together, isn't it? And the doctor was like, I just want to hear the baby cry and not everyone else. But that was such a joyful moment.
True. Absolutely, yes. I mean, yes, yeah. She clearly said, "Nee, nee, no one, now the baby has to cry, but no one else should cry." Yeah,
Yeah.
it was amazing. I mean, that's the closest thing, I experienced, the feminine goddess, the epitome of Shakti. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And I don't know why. And that made me feel, oh my God, why we women are scared and, we are not experiencing. I mean, why aren't we experiencing it? Like, you know, it, it was amazing, you know. I just wish that, I hope that every woman experiences that. Every woman who wants to be a mother experience that kind of a thing,
Yeah.
you know. So, yeah.
And then please mention that you did not have any tear. There was no tear for you.
Yeah, I mean, even though I got so impatient and I was pushing myself, but I think that's not something which you're supposed to do because that kind of increases the risk of a tear. But I was like, no, somehow I need to bring my baby out. So let it be if I tear. I just have to bring my baby out. I've waited for so long. Now I'm losing my patience. But I think probably maybe Sneha, you can add. I think the hot compress helped a lot to relax and let the perineum do its thing, let the vagina stretch and do its thing. So yeah,
Then you were taken on the bed, and
yeah.
you were on the bed, and we were waiting for the placenta birth.
Placenta, yes,
Yeah.
yes. The
So the
placenta
baby
birth
was
remains, yeah.
the baby was on the skin, and
Yeah,
because the doctors, they are tend to have this active management in the third stage of birth, labor. So she was kind of helping to get the placenta out, but then we said no, the placenta will come out. So me and Tapasya, we spoke to her, and she says, the baby, the placenta will contract, the contraction will happen, placenta will give birth. Just wait for 30 minutes or 40 minutes, and then she was like, okay, do it all. I'll leave. And then we did it. She got the urge to push again, and the placenta was out.
yes. And after that, we had a delayed cord clamping till the time the placenta is out. Uh, we hadn't done the cord clamping at all. And once the placenta is out, almost I think 1 hour later we did it,
Yeah.
like the cord clamping, yeah. Till and as soon as the baby was born, baby was on my chest, so I had that immediate skin to skin, and also breastfeeding started in the golden hour, and yeah, and then finally the cord clamping was done by my husband. So it's amazing. I mean, I after having this, I couldn't believe that it actually happened. Wow.
And that's how you message every time, "Yeah, how did that happen, Tapasya? How, like,
Yeah,
that
I think
mesmerization feeling, you have those
wow.
moments.
Yes,
Tapasya,
true.
would you like to add something to Pooja's journey?
Yes, I would like to explain a couple of things for people who are new to terms in birth. And one thing particularly fascinated me about Pooja's birth was how she was working with her own body and how she was taking help from the facility, because me and Sneha, obviously we are home birth people. So first question we ask is, why do you want to go to the hospital? Because we are really, really comfortable at home. But Pooja had her own reasons. She said, no, home birth is not an option for me. I would definitely like to go to the hospital. And the way she used the hospital facility with so much informed decision making, that was amazing. Okay, so first of all, we mentioned something called cholestasis. So cholestasis, people who have had it have done research about it, but people who don't know what cholestasis is, it's basically it's just the taxed liver in the pregnancy, because liver is kind of our recycling unit for the body. So liver deals with toxins and stuff in the blood, and liver gets them out to the excretory system, and make sure that whatever is not wanted in the body is taken out of the body. So what happens in sometimes in pregnancies, liver is take recycling everything from the mother's body, and from placenta whatever is coming from the baby, liver is working double to filter the blood and get out the toxins, etc. But sometimes in pregnancy liver gets overloaded. Maybe it's because of our previous toxin load, because we have lots of toxins in our environment, in our washing, toiletries, and lots of stuff. So we are ingesting toxins all the time, pesticides, right from pesticides and chemical fertilizers in our food, to the detergents we use, shampoos we use, etc, etc, etc. Sometimes in pregnancy the liver is so overloaded that it shows signs that I am tired, And now, because liver and bile acids, biliary function is very, very closely related. Bile is pitta. So people who are familiar with Ayurvedic terms, pitta is when there is imbalance of biles, when there is lot of acid in liver, we start experiencing lots of symptoms, that is body is taxed. So sometimes pregnant women start itching in their hands and feet. And then when we do a liver profile, then we find out that the acid levels are going up. The liver salts, the bile salts that are there in the liver and gallbladder, they are going up. And we need to control this situation. So we in natural way, it can be definitely controlled if you can clean your diet. Just like Puja said, she knew that she cannot handle fats. There are some people who cannot handle a lot of protein. So what we do is, in cholestasis, we ask the mother to eat a diet full of lots of fruits, vegetables, and vegetarian protein. Because sometimes animal protein, things like milk, things like chicken, that has lots of hormones and antibiotics, etc., that can also again tax the liver. So we clean the diet, and then we do some certain homeopathic and herbal tinctures to support the liver, so that liver is saying, okay, all right, I can manage. So that's how we manage it in a midwifery care model. In medical system, they will just give you medicines that will suppress the activity in liver, but it can rebound after pregnancy also. It has long-term side effects of using those meds. So we wanted Puja to get off the meds and go to the clean diet and use of homeopathy, etc., etc. So again, cholestasis can be perfectly managed naturally, and most of the times it does not affect baby. But medical system thinks that if cholestasis is not controlled, it can result in a stillbirth, which is, I'm not negating, it can happen, but it is very, very rare. When we know we have a condition, we try to control it. Second thing is, doctors, whenever you have cholestasis, doctors will say you need to induce labor by 37 or 36, whatever weeks, because there is danger that baby will be stillborn. So that's how it is. But the way I have experienced it, Puja was my third or fourth case of cholestasis, that before it gets too toxic in there, baby is going to start labor. So I feel that need for induction is not so much there. We just keep a vigil. Maybe we do biophysical profiles, we do CTGs, and we keep a vigil that baby is doing fine, and we wait for the labor. And meanwhile, the mother takes all this clean diet and tinctures and things like milk thistle and dandelion root. Those are herbs that support the liver, etc. And we wait for the labor. And little bit of background of this, that Puja knows the doctor supported her, etc. But on the on the backstage, me, doctor, and Puja were having video calls, and doctor was very skeptical. Do I wait? I think I should induce. My colleagues are asking me, why are you waiting? Are you waiting for some calamity to happen? It's very risky situation. Blah blah blah. And we were telling the doctor that let's just wait for her to go in labor, and she is definitely showing signs of pre-labor, and you don't have to induce her, and we will just wait for the labor. And somehow she reluctantly agreed that, okay, let's see for next 3 days, next 3 days. And fortunately, we had meeting on Friday, I think, and Saturday night, Puja starts having lots of contractions. So doctor was going to go to her hometown for some function, and the morning, she was about to travel, Puja started her contractions. So we told the doctor, you cannot go. So doctor is also waiting eagerly for Puja to have her baby. Saturday night passes, Sunday whole day passes, and doctor is now like, oh my god, ye kitni der chalega, it's taking too long. Again, Monday morning, doctor calls me that there is a cervical lip. So cervical lip, again, I would like to explain a little bit that cervix is the mouth of the uterus that stretches, opens, and thins out when the baby is coming out. So most of the times it will thin out equally, but sometimes there is anterior lip. That means where the baby's front of the back of the head is, the cervix has not dilated fully actually, so there is unequal dilation. So cervix is thin in the posterior towards the anus of the mother and little thicker towards the front of the mother. And because baby's head is not equally pressing it, because baby's head is not equally round, it is kind of oval, and baby flexes its head. So what part of head is pressing on the cervix and how cervix is dilating, that also has correlation with each other. So that cervical lip was there. So doctor was asking me, shall I remove it manually? So I said, see, you can do it manually or you can just wait for 5 hours, it will go away, because cervical lips most of the times will melt away. The mom just needs to rest, relax, and use different positions. That's all. But because again, we were in a medical facility, everybody was getting anxious. Puja said, let's do it. Because I have understood the risks, I have understood what it is. But I think, it can, if it can cut me 3-4 hours of labor, let's do it. Again, when Puja was having pooping pressure, she was saying, I need to poop. And we were like, yeah, that's natural pressure, you will get that pressure. And she was like, no, I need to really empty my bowels and nothing is coming out. So I'm going to ask for enema. And me and Sneha were taken aback, like, oh my God, like, why she wants enema? Because usually we say, enema is not needed. But she was going so much with her intuition, her body, and telling us that, no, I think after enema, I'm going to feel more relieved and the baby will come out faster. So again, she uses this hospital facility to get the enema, because at home maybe we would have tried or we would have just waited. It would have prolonged the labor by 5-6 hours, the lip and the bowel situation, etc. But at home we are not very bothered. But because we were at hospital and we needed the things to move so that people were relieved, and again the doctor was under a lot of pressure from the hospital that this is a VBAC, so long, you are waiting, you are putting everything at risk, and doctor was kind of holding everybody back. So she held that fort for
the
us.
only thing which she did in her presence, like she was there throughout, because we were thinking that it will happen soon, but she had to manage a lot of things in the hospital. So she made sure that no one enters inside the room. So while I was handling Puja, she was handling the whole team there, who was, ma'am, you have not even given pitocin. Ma'am, what are you doing? Ma'am, what are you doing? The pediatrician is like, are you going to give the baby to me, or that is also not there in your protocol of your water birth? So yeah, so people were like, we were very grateful that she managed it so well outside. Yeah.
Exactly, that all credit goes to her for holding that space and making it safe and secure for all three of us, and for especially for Puja to do her own thing, because in every birth the mother births, nobody does anything. So mother needs to do what she needs to do, and Puja knew it so well, what she needed to do, and she used the facilities she had, and she labored on beautifully. And in the end, obviously I've heard all of us were crying, but this was a very, very learning experience for me as well, and it validated my theory that when there is cholestasis, just wait for labor, don't do much, support the mother naturally, support her liver, and let her go in labor, because babies will definitely come out before it gets too toxic in there. So that's what was going on behind the curtain. And but all of it came together so beautifully, and I'm so grateful for that to the Almighty. And yeah, it was great. That was a birth to remember.
Yes, so thank you so much, Tapasya, for adding on to the information which is very much needed out there. That you did not need to freak up, and the best part was it was doctors also first cholestasis case. So she kind of trusted the fact that okay, so what we did, like me and Tapasya, we spoke to her, we showed her some cases, where we have a sister called Zareen, and she had a beautiful birth, in ICP also. So we shared that story to her. We kind of said, so she's like, okay, you guys have done it, no? Until and unless Puja is in the premises, I am responsible. If she's at home and she comes only in labor, so things are sorted. So you guys do that. And that was a collaboration which was beautiful. Must say that, we did it all good that way. And that was, I think, also Puja was so determined, and she felt that the birth is gonna be that way. So it happened. Puja, are you there?
Yeah, I'm there. I was listening to it. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, one thing is that which I just wanted to add is that, like in cholestasis, like doctors get very much, worried and all. So they want to do like 35 or 37 weeks, maybe. But I think what we need to know is that, how the duration of the pregnancy and the risk level varies with the bile acid level. So I think that's very important, because if we know that, then that helps us to advocate for ourselves, to the doctor. Like, yeah, definitely, if you bring the baby out at 35 weeks, na, if the bile salts are not above 100, then there's no risk to it. So if the bile salts are above 100, right, then there's a risk, and you might have to get the baby out at 35 weeks, right? But if you're able to, if bring it down below 100, then accordingly, as per the recommendations of the latest ICP research, so we can wait to beyond like 37 weeks. So
Yeah,
I
you
think that is something which is, we should like have that
39,
in.
39 week was something which Puja you mentioned, there in
Yeah,
your
yeah,
research,
like,
39 week is something which you can wait for.
yeah, and if it's less than, I think as per latest research, right? Yeah, if it's less than for 40, one can go up to 39 weeks. So mine, I think the final test that I did, it was
Yeah,
came to 22. So I was like, okay, I can go to 39 weeks now.
yeah. But you were also very clear that 37th week is the week where you'll birth, and the
Yeah,
labor
I was
started there.
wishing that. I was wishing that. Yeah.
Yeah. So Tapasya, you have Hafsa Appa has a question for you, that what is the actual protocol of handling cervical lip? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Yeah, I read her question and quickly got my my uterus. Yeah. You get the joke. So this is the cervix. Okay. Uh, okay. We don't want a prolapsed cord. I don't know why cord is coming up.
Okay, you got your uterus. I was thinking, what does this mean?
We never want a prolapsed cord.
Yeah, my cord is coming out. Okay, go in, baby. Yeah. So this is the uterus. This is the cervix. Okay. So this is the cervix. Actual cervix is around 3 centimeters thick in a non-pregnant woman. Okay. But at term, cervix is going to thin out slowly. That's what we call effacement. And when the labor is going to start, the cervix is going to be almost very thin, thinner than this part of our hand, and it's going to stretch, and it kind of opens. That all we know. So in cervical lip, what happens is baby is dilating this with the pressure of the head. And why the water is important, why we should not allow water to be broken again, is that because of that water, the cervix dilates equally. Sometimes the baby is going into the pelvis with little bit of weird head position, which we call malposition. Again, the word malposition is very biased, but baby enters the pelvis in whatever way it is allowed to enter, and with the contractions baby is coming down. But sometimes this dilation of the cervix is not even. So some part, most of the times it's anterior part, because anterior is in front, posterior is in the back. So because babies, when they flex head, this part is putting the pressure, and sometimes it's not perfectly round. So the cervix, the cervix is not dilating evenly. Sometimes this is thick in the anterior part and thin in the posterior part. So what generally doctors do is they will put their hand, doctors and midwives, whoever is there, they will, you know, go through the vagina, put the hand, they will see where is the thick part of the cervix, is where is the thick part, and that thick part they will put their two fingers and try to stretch it, stretch it, and, you know, ask the mother to be in her in whatever position. Sometimes in hospitals they give fundal pressure as well, so that baby, you know, equally dilates this lip. Sometimes they will just do this manually, and they do lots of things. Sometimes they will apply a gel also, that, you know, prostaglandin gel to dilate the cervix, and try to just hold the cervix so that the head just comes and that cervix disappears, and head enters the vaginal canal, the birth canal. So that is the protocol that is done. Many home birth midwives also do it. I generally don't. If I feel the cervical lip, what we do is we try to get the mom in an inverted position so that not all the pressure is on the cervix. So pressure is a little relieved. And if mother takes some rest, some nourishment, and just waits, the cervical lip disappears on its own as the baby comes in a good position. Doing rebozo also in that position is very, very effective, so that, you know, baby, sometimes we lift the belly of the mother with rebozo so that baby has a chance to little, you know, engage the head, you know, little well, you know, in a better way, and then it will just dilate the cervix. So all this can be done. So it depends on the mother what she wants. If she is saying that I don't want to wait for the cervix to go away, because it could take anywhere between 4 to 6 hours to for the lip to disappear. One risk in manual dilation of the cervix is that you can have a cervical tear, which is very, very difficult to repair, and a mother can bleed a lot through cervical tear. And that is the reason I do not prefer to move cervical lip, because naturally, see, if you don't do any vaginal check, we will never know there was a cervical lip, because it will go away. And okay, Puja, see you next time. And if we keep doing the vaginal checks, we will know that the cervical lip is there and something needs to be done. Then you have options. Something needs to be done, you can do it, or you can choose not to do anything and it will go away on its own. Mostly it will. So
thank you
yeah,
so much. I really appreciate now that it really does make sense. So yeah, I think just that hands-off approach is the best, and the inversions is, I think the holistic approach is the best one, rather than poking and prodding the mom. I like that. I have one of my moms here. I asked her to specifically
but if you
join
if you
today.
are in a sorry to cut you.
Yeah, I was just saying that I asked one of my moms to join. I see that she's here because she's like on, like, inshallah, about to give birth soon. And she's the one which is like having some symptoms of cholestasis. Mashallah, she's managing it well. So just some words of encouragement for her, please. That mashallah, this mom, that the story you shared today, she managed it, right? She managed the VBAC with the cholestasis. And like you said, the cholestasis itself is not as risky. And I loved what you said, that if it gets too toxic for the baby is going to just start labor, right? So I think that is something that really, really was eye-opening, that I mean, it's all perfectly fine in there, as long as when it isn't, the baby's just going to start labor.
Exactly. I have never seen a cholestasis mom go to 40 week or 41 week and, you know, baby suffering. I have never seen that, you know, whatever short span of midwifery I have done. I've always seen that whenever it is too much, baby will start labor mostly at 37, 38 weeks. 39 weeks. Puja went in labor what? 38.5 something.
No, 37,
Right?
37.
37. Yeah, that's what happens. So we just support the mother, and dandelion root mother tincture is something I have found very, very important. And eating bitter vegetables like bitter gourd, and sometimes neem also sometimes you can take, and white gourd, petha. In North India and Pakistan it's called petha, safed petha, which is ash gourd. Drinking its juice every day for 15 days definitely will bring your liver enzymes down. Yeah.
And also, Tapasya, we would like to add that, when she went for a chiropractor treatment, and he mentioned that, if a woman or if anyone has relationship problems, or, if there's anger issues, suppression of feelings, those things also impact. And with whatever diet you gave and medication, in those few days, she managed to resolve her relationships, her stress levels, and her anger issues. She sorted her life that way as well. So that made things easier for her to labor, and the relationship between the spouses also was well managed during the labor and the birth. So that was something which I would like to give perspective as a doula.
Exactly, Sneha. Thank you so much for adding that part, because liver as in ancient Chinese medicine, and in I think in Unani medicine as well, your liver is the place where you store the anger, so anger and and irritation, all that is stored in liver, and grief is stored in our kidneys, especially in women. So when we take care of our anger and stress, the liver is always is going to be thanking us.
Someone asked Tapasya that does every pregnant woman need to drink that ash gourd juice, or
Well, not every pregnant woman, but it is, in general, I would say yes, because it is a very alkaline, the most alkaline food you can have in nature is ash gourd. And because we keep eating lots of things that increase acid in our body, like non-vegetarian food, the fats that we are using, refined oils, they are not good, and not everybody can afford the cold pressed natural oils. If you are using all the natural oils, all the seeds, perfect organic grass fed animal products, that is good, but not, we cannot do that every time, and sometimes we are eating outside food as well. So to detoxify all of that in a very, very natural way, which is safe in pregnancy, is ash gourd. So if you could do just 10 days of ash gourd, irrespective of the cholestasis or not, you will see benefits.
great. This was an insight. Ash gourd is a petha, right? Yeah, it's petha. It's green color vegetable with white color content in it. I don't know what do you say. Ash gourd, yeah, white color content. So yeah, Hafsa, that's how it is. So I guess today's was a lot of learning. Alhamdulillah, Jazakallah khair Tapasya. Thank you so much. And thank you everyone for joining in. And so soon there's a birth story coming. We have to go and contact that mother. Yes, we have a birth to attend now. So take care, everyone. Thank you so much. We see you sometime next Sunday, inshallah. Take care. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, everyone.